Today we are starting A-Level Economics AS with demand and supply. We will focus on equilibrium, shifts, and how to turn the diagram into exam answers. Concept first, then real exam questions. Start with market equilibrium. Equilibrium is the price where demand equals supply. Think of it as the point where buyers and sellers agree. Demand shows what consumers are willing and able to buy at each price. On the diagram, demand slopes down because a lower price usually means people want more. Supply shows what producers are willing and able to sell at each price. Supply slopes up because a higher price gives producers more reason to sell. Where the two curves meet, we get the equilibrium price and quantity. At that point, the amount buyers want is exactly the amount producers want to sell. If price is too high, there is a surplus. Some goods are left unsold, so sellers feel pressure to reduce price. If price is too low, there is a shortage. Consumers want more than producers are offering, so price is pushed up. So when quantity demanded equals quantity supplied, the market clears. Now look at shifts in demand. Demand changes when a non-price factor changes. That means something other than the product's own price has changed. If demand increases, the whole demand curve shifts to the right. At every price, consumers now want to buy more. If demand decreases, the whole demand curve shifts to the left. At every price, consumers now want to buy less. Do not confuse this with a price change. A price change causes a movement along the demand curve. Common causes include income, taste, population, substitutes, and complements. So if income rises for a normal good, demand may shift right. If a close substitute becomes cheaper, demand for this good may shift left. Remember, price changes quantity demanded, not demand itself. Now supply. Supply changes when conditions of production change. Again, this is not caused by the product's own price changing. Lower costs, better technology, or a subsidy can shift supply to the right. That means producers are willing to sell more at every price. Higher costs, taxes, or disruption can shift supply to the left. That means producers are willing to sell less at every price. When supply shifts right, price usually falls and quantity rises. The new curve creates excess supply at the old price, so price comes down. When supply shifts left, price usually rises and quantity falls. The market now has less available output, so buyers compete for a smaller quantity. The key is to name the cause, then show the curve shift. In exam answers, do not jump straight to the final result. Use a chain of effects. First, identify the cause. For example, income rises. That tells the examiner why the market is changing. Second, say which curve shifts and in which direction. Here, demand shifts right. This is the diagram step, so be precise with the curve and direction. Third, explain the pressure at the old price. There is a shortage. Quantity demanded is now greater than quantity supplied. Finally, give both outcomes, price rises and quantity rises. Use the words shift, shortage, or surplus, and new equilibrium. That sequence gives you a clear answer instead of a one-line guess. Here is a supply shift exam-style question. The government gives a subsidy to producers of electric bicycles. We need to explain the effect on price and quantity. A subsidy lowers firms' production costs. Lower costs make production more profitable at each possible price. So supply shifts to the right. The original supply curve is no longer enough, so draw a new supply curve to the right. At the old price, there is now excess supply or a surplus. Producers want to sell more than consumers want to buy at that old price. To clear the market, price falls. The new equilibrium quantity rises. A strong answer says, subsidy lowers costs. Supply shifts right, surplus at the old price, price falls, and quantity rises. That final chain is exactly the exam logic. Cause, curve, pressure, outcome. Now a demand shift question. Consumers' incomes rise and electric bicycles become more popular. These are non-price factors. They affect buyers directly, not because the bicycle price changed first. So demand increases and the demand curve shifts to the right. At each price, consumers are now willing and able to buy more electric bicycles. At the old price, quantity demanded is now greater than quantity supplied. That creates a shortage. The shortage means some consumers cannot buy at the original price. The shortage puts upward pressure on price. The new equilibrium has a higher price and a higher quantity. A strong answer says income and popularity increase demand. Demand shifts right, shortage at the old price. Price rises and quantity rises. Notice both outcomes are included, not just price. Scoring tips. First, name the curve, demand or supply. This prevents a vague answer. Second, say the direction, left or right. The direction must match the cause in the question. Third, explain market pressure, shortage or surplus at the old price. This is the step many students miss, but it explains why price changes. Fourth, finish with both outcomes, price and quantity. Do not stop after saying price rises or price falls. Check your answer in this order: cause, curve shift, pressure, new equilibrium. If all four parts are there, your answer is much easier to award. Keep practicing with real exam questions on EduNinja. Use topic-by-topic practice. Check step-by-step solutions. Build smart papers for revision, and use revision notes when you need a quick recap. For demand and supply, repeat the same chain until it feels automatic. Keep going, and I will see you in the next one.